Do you remember us?
Yeah,
we're
back.
At
a new place.
We're back.
It looks the same, but
yeah,
it's different.
It's a new place, yeah. It's same old guys. I'm Mike McHugh, the host of Coastal Daybreak, and Richard Clark, the news director for the Carteret News-Times. We're in our new digs. We're still in Morehead City. We're in Midtown. We're above Dogwood.
Midtown, is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's a financial district. We're above Dogwood. We're above Dogwood State Bank. It's we're ex-doctor, ex-DR, Executive Drive in Morehead City, MHC, Midtown, and above Dogwood State Bank on the second floor. Loving it here. The radio station is finally reunited with the newspaper.
Yep.
Here at the Carteret County, the Carteret Times, Carteret News-Times.
Carteret News-Times.
It's been a while since we've done these shows. I don't know how to talk anymore.
Carteret COnnects.
Carteret COnnects. Yeah, that's the name of what you're watching right now. We thank you for coming on here this morning.
And our mothers for getting on.
And Mom in Allentown, and your mom up in Richmond.
Yep.
Okay.
She'll
So
be
we got
happy.
it all counted for. And there was somebody else that was listening. I think we have our total viewership of at least
Like
three, plus whoever chimes in here gets lost in the internet and wanders into our
Falls down the rabbit hole.
wanders into our little world over here, and we do mean little.
But you had an interesting interview. Well,
we'll talk about that. The interview we had on radio this morning, because for those of you who may have served in the Marine Corps or have a family member in the Marine Corps, this is a big day.
Or the military.
Military for general, yeah. October 23rd, 1983 was the day in which the barracks in Beirut, Lebanon were blown up by a Hezbollah terrorist.
Wasn't it the worst before 9/11?
Well,
of American loss?
It was the largest loss of Marine Corps life since Iwo Jima in World War II, where 220 Marines died, 18 sailors and 3 soldiers died when a truck bomb blew up the barracks, a 4-story building at the airport in Beirut, Lebanon. It happened at 6:22 a.m. on October 23rd. It was a Sunday. Kind of funny how it's a Sunday. Pearl Harbor was a Sunday too,
Yep.
so they knew that although the troops were on alert, many of them, and the gentleman I spoke with this morning, Manny Simmons, Lance Corporal at the time, was asleep in his cot on the second floor. The bomb blast actually lifted the entire building off its foundation and then collapsed on itself, trapping Manny and many others, killing scores, 241.
And how long was he trapped, did he say?
He was trapped for, actually, they were over top of him in a matter of minutes.
Oh, good.
The troops rushed in and started pulling debris off of him. Amazing story. He felt he was on his stomach, and he felt as though his right arm had been severed from his body. His arm had been severed from his body, and he reached over and grabbed it, thinking it was severed from his body. He purposely grabbed it because he said, in his words, "When they rescue me, I'm going to give it to the doc to sew back on." He's a Marine.
Right.
He's a tough guy.
And a boxer.
And a boxer. He was wearing a ring that had a snake's head on it. So when he felt this limb next to him, he had no feeling it, but he felt this. He felt the ring. It was an arm. Imagine that.
Scary.
Grabbed
Scary
it.
stuff.
And he was rescued. He was flown from the site to the Iwo Jima, which was anchored offshore, and then flown back to the airport, and then eventually to Germany, where he recovered. Amazing. He had only been in the Marine Corps for about a year. They arrived in Beirut in Memorial Day of 1983. He had joined the Corps in May of 82. He would then serve 27 years. He was a professional boxer in New York City.
Yeah.
And he
he's
had
got
six professional fights at Madison Square Garden. Richard asked after the interview, "Hey, who else were you shared the ring with?" And what did he say?
Roberto Duran and Tommy Hearns, which are legendary.
It's the Hitman, isn't it?
Yeah. Tommy Hearns, the Hitman.
Hitman.
Duran's Hands of Stone. I mean, these are literally Mount Rushmore guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and our own Emmanuel Simmons.
Yeah.
And if you see, you got to meet Manny. Manny has a boxing gym in Jacksonville on Lejeune Boulevard, 10 rounds, and it's right across the street, literally across the street from the Beirut Memorial. He did that purposely.
Did
he? He was looking for a site to open the gym, and he's in Jacksonville.
Good for
and
him.
Just waited for this
That's
property
fantastic.
to open up. He opened it up a few years ago, and they since reopened it because of COVID shut it down. So if you're in Jacksonville, first of all, go to the Beirut Memorial in Lejeune Gardens.
Stop by and say hey.
And see the names on the wall. All 241 names are on the wall there. and then cross the street, and you'll see Manny's building and his gym. He's usually there from like 4 till whenever at night.
That memorial hadn't been up that long, has it?
It's been up for longer than you think, because they've been having
10 years?
Longer than that.
Okay.
I think
I seem to recall them doing that, though.
they started doing the service, I believe, in Jacksonville in like 1986. So they've had a big run.
Yeah, but the memorial.
They started the Beirut Memorial Commission. Then they raised money to build the wall. I'm saying it probably came in early 2000s.
Yeah. Okay.
They always had the space.
I was going to say,
if you go down there, there's
2008.
they had the Vietnam glass walls there. They had the Beirut, and they also have a girder from the World Trade.
Yes, I remember when they brought that in.
They have a lot of. So you should check it out. It's actually a very, very serene, very beautiful place to walk. This would be a perfect weekend if you're in Jacksonville to stroll the grounds of the Beirut Memorial, particularly this weekend, because despite the fact that they didn't have a formal service at the site this year because of COVID, they were doing it virtual. I'm sure there are a lot of Beirut vets in town, and these are guys. This happened 37 years ago, so they're about mid-50s at this point. The youngest ones are mid-50s, so they're like our age. You see them, and they have their jackets that says Beirut survivor.
And we weren't going to lead with this since it's a more serious and a tad more somber.
Yeah, it is. And it's October 23rd. I mean, every year when Richard and I write the newspaper, it's always and rightfully so. It's the lead story. It's a big deal. And the 5 and 10 or like the 5-year anniversaries of it. This is 37. So in 3 more years, in 2023, will be 40. The crowds just are amazing in those because they come from all over the United States. In the other years, it's still a big crowd. And last year, General Gray spoke, and he was a commanding general at the time, and he's still a fighting Marine. So.
And it changed a lot the way we handled a lot of that security. Number one, on the bases and et cetera.
Yeah, we slowly learned. So oftentimes it takes those. They were at a heightened alert, but as Manny said in the interview, they weren't allowed to fight back or fire back. They came in peace. They weren't raiding Beirut. They weren't invading Beirut. They were there to help keep the peace. There was such sectarian violence around there, and where they were at the airport. He didn't say this in the show this morning. I've talked to him on numerous occasions. That they're at an airport, and across the road, if you will, were like the Lebanese soldiers, and people from the town would come out to sell their wares or to visit. So they really never know who was coming. And this truck, this is at 6 o'clock in the morning. They didn't quite know what it was. They thought it was delivering like water or something, and it plowed right through the gates, right through the concertina wires. The sentries out there didn't even have time to stop the vehicle, and it went right to the front and blew up. Around the same time, the same day at least, there were French paratroopers across town. 58 of them perished in a similar explosion. They think they shot the driver there, but it was too late. It exploded and killed 58 of them. 241 of ours, 58 French.
I'm not. This is just pure curiosity. I wonder if Hezbollah, because that's who ultimately was responsible.
Well, Iran was ultimately.
Right.
Hezbollah was.
I wonder if they wanted to, if they would do it again, given how things change for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Iran's still Iran.
But Hezbollah's not.
Hezbollah's not what they were,
right?
But they're still there.
Yeah.
So what happened was it was backlash. The United States federal government froze Iranian assets. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And they were frozen for decades, 10, 20 years or so, and it went to the courts
since the kidnapping.
It went to the courts to unfreeze the money and give it to the victims, for the families of the victims, and also their survivors. Mm-hmm. And you can look this up. I mean, we're not telling tales out of school, and Manny, if he was standing here today, would tell you he received a payment from the federal government from frozen Iranian assets. And I think that's fine, that's fair, he should have. And that's in part how he was able to fund the gym. But he serves 27 years in the United States Marine Corps. It's amazing that. What's remarkable is if you saw his picture, he showed it to me, of what he looked like after the blast, and he told you on radio this morning, a hole in his jaw, his entire face was blown up, broken scapula, other injuries throughout his body. His face, literally, the only way to describe it, it looked like a pizza pie. It did not look like a human being. And I've told him this to his face. I told him in the pre-interview earlier this week, you have no right to be alive.
Yeah, I think it's
so he took he had shrapnel in his body and all that. Quite a remarkable story. We'll put it up on the radio station's Facebook page. You can listen to it there. But if you want to meet a true American hero, go to the boxing 10 rounds in Jacksonville on Lejeune Boulevard across from the Babe Ruth Memorial.
I suspect we'll get that on the News-Times site as well. It's just a great story.
It's a great local story, yeah. So look forward to that. So this is a big day for us. But it's interesting, Richard. I was looking forward to today because I knew Mandy's conversation was going to come up on the air. But I was at a business after hours for the Swansboro Area Chamber of Commerce last evening at the Swansboro Conference Center, where our new offices are. And we had a great turnout of members and actually some visitors kicking the tires to see if they want to take part in the membership of the chamber. And we brought we usually have door prizes, so we hand out a ticket. You come in and put it in a fishbowl, and people brought door prizes. And one group, the Swansboro Landing, is a new assisted living center in Swansboro on the Loop Road. That's where it is. It's on the Loop Road. They brought in this basket, and among the things that were in there was cheese, there was nuts, there were these 2 bottles of wine, and I paid no attention to it. It was wrapped in that plastic, and so we're doing the door prize thing. And a young lady from Mac Daddy's was the lucky ticket holder, and she wins the basket. Now, of course,
did she know what?
Oh yeah, that's why I say this young lady. When I say young lady, she was 30-ish or so, right? High tech, got the big, phone and all that, and she said, "Oh, cool." And she's opening up. She's there. These wine bottles talk to you.
Yeah.
And I'm 59 years old. There was a time when I may have drained a wine bottle or two, and sure enough, they would talk back to me, albeit 12 hours later.
Yeah.
But this wasn't the case. It was interesting. She says, "No, watch," and she takes her phone, and she puts it to the label of the wine bottle, like I'm holding my coffee cup here, like this, and on the wine bottle itself, it's called 19 Crimes.
The guy started talking.
The image on there, it's in a duotone image, black and white, and it's a 19th century convict, right? And they're British. I was on a ship and I was a mutiny. Anyway, the image on there, through her app, begins to talk, and it's the same image on there, and everything. It's just that actor, if you will, whose image is on the wine, begins to talk and tell his story and so it's called 19 Crimes. They have 19 different bottles. And
it's probably not an actor except for the voice. It's probably an actual picture. Because what actor that's just going to do that would want his picture?
I don't. Yeah, true. True. Well, true. I mean, it could be somebody like our Ross dressing up in character, but fascinating. If you see them out there, I'm not pushing this particular brand of wine.
Yeah.
I don't drink wine, but nonetheless.
But the technology's
amazing. So we started to think like, well, boy,
what are the applications?
What else can you do? Okay, so in Swansboro, we have the Swansboro Historical Association. We have a walking tour brochure. Paper, ink on paper, printed in a printing press, and you walk around town and you read that house there, and you start reading the narrative of. You could easily just take a picture of the house and boom, maybe the resident from the when the house was first built back in the early 20th century or late 19th century comes to the front porch and describes her house and who lives here and what they did for a living. It'd be really cool. In Beaufort, you could do that in Beaufort in a homes tour. I was just thinking along those lines. But the application is, it's endless.
Oh, it's great. It could be great for kids and book trails and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Go to Jamestown or the Smithsonian, and they have some of that stuff. It'd be far more entertaining for kids.
You could, think now. You just said trails. So so you could go out to Hammocks Beach State Park. They have 3 miles of trails: the red, the white, and the blue trail. And they could put like a little code, a QR code on a longleaf pine tree, and you do that, and all of a sudden it explains how long it takes for a longleaf pine tree to grow.
They can do it with anything. Zoos can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it's endless technology uses for this. Absolutely. Like I said, Jamestown and any of those types of places that they took you as a kid on field trips would have been far better with this.
Yeah. I think we were talking about this during the broadcast this morning. When you would go to like a Civil War battle site like Gettysburg, such as Gettysburg, they have you used to rent the headsets and drive around and stop it, at post 19, and they'll tell you what happened there. Here you just and you'd see perhaps
and they could literally have Robert E. Lee telling you what he did.
Robert E. Lee and showing his troops moving across the field. That'd be fantastic.
Right. I mean, it could be so, and that's what I think they used for the wine is an image from a guy, but that through the computer they made him talk.
Yeah.
So you could actually use, in this case, this example, Robert E. Lee or whoever. I think you could do that, and it would be just.
Now I could see going to like PetSmart and going onto the dog food bags here and then say, I really like this one here. It's got a great kibble taste. It's a nice crunch, and I like it. It makes look at my coat. It's so shiny.
There's so many ways to use this technology. I'm surprised. And that, looking back when I did the research after you showed me, that wine's been around for 3 years.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's like
I don't know.
It's not an expensive wine. It's in that
mid-range,
$7, $8, $9. So it's got a lot of competition. But guess what? That really stands out.
I love the idea.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I know you're not a wine drinker, but I'm sure like for Gwen, you might say, what, pull this off. Watch this. It's so cool. And they're smart. 19 varieties. In fact, we were just doing this before we came on here. What present day pop icon celebrity did we see on the wine label? Wasn't it?
It was Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg's he's got his face on one of the labels. I think that was real. I think they did that.
It is real. Yeah, I looked it up while you were looking at it.
And he makes a what was it called? It was a Cali Red.
Cali Red.
Cali Red. Yeah. It's a little on the sweet side.
But I mean, it's. I think for the learning possibilities for kids is endless, especially when a generation that's grown up with this technology. Using their phones.
I wonder what that app. I wonder how.
Here's my question:
how long it took to develop?
How do you think the wine owner or creator and the software person got together to do this? Were they already friends? And the guy said, "Hey, what we ought to do?" How did that happen? Is what I want to know.
Yeah. Was there pushback? Was there that would never work? Or was there an immediate that's cool?
If I'm the wine guy, I go yes.
Yeah.
Unless the cost is crazy, but it couldn't have been cheap.
No. I mean, back in the day, several years ago, probably 10 years ago, I remember them trying to develop an app for area restaurant. Topsail Beach was doing an app, Swan, and they were in the $5,000 to $7,000 range. I mean, they can be quite.
And not only that, though, with that, you need the other end because you got to make those guys talk.
Yeah.
So that's graphics.
Me thinks wine. California is a wine growing state. California is a tech state.
That's what I mean.
It probably wasn't that hard.
It could have even been a tech guy that got out of the game and wanted to have a vineyard, and he was like, wine. You know what?
No, and who loves wine?
Right, and he created himself. For all I know.
Yeah, it's like that guy we saw doing the review of that bottle just now. He's a foodie, and you were saying about how these people just go around and eat a lot.
He eats everything.
Who was that guy? Wasn't this guy?
I can't. No. I can't remember.
He was an Asian American living in Missouri.
Yeah. Well, he's from Missouri now. He's based out of New York.
Yeah.
But he goes to Hong Kong and Thailand and everywhere, and he's been to Italy, and he'll just eat food. I mean, man, he eats like Gwen always says he eats like I do because he eats like 5 times a day.
Yeah.
And he tries everything, and he's just YouTube. He's made so much money.
That's crazy because it used to be a person that would be a food critic would either have. You only have one on a television cable station, and you might get in Gourmet Magazine or whatever the foodie magazine at the time was. This thing has just opened it up to anybody.
Yeah.
And forget the print editions. Forget the magazines now. You don't need them. You don't need the cable channel. You get your own. You can start it up right now. Be a foodie. Go around town. Go around Morehead City. Go around Beaufort, go to Swansboro, and just start reviewing. And before people,
Well, that's how this guy did it.
Yeah,
because we watched this thing, and that's exactly how he started. I wish I could remember where it was.
Why didn't we think of that?
And he started he posted a few things, and then people requested a few more, and he did it. And the next thing you know, he made enough money to buy his mother and father, and he's under 30. And he went to like NYU, I think, or something like that. But anyway,
he's in New York City, so he's got that.
Yeah, he's from Missouri, but
it's all restaurants.
He went to maybe Stanford. I can't remember. Anyway, but he had enough money to buy his parents a big condo in Flushing Meadow, New York, which we all know comes with a hefty price tag.
Sure does.
So the point of that was, YouTube is your sole provider for that stuff. Holy smoke! I mean, I was blown away
because people are tuning in. He's getting he's getting eyeballs to YouTube. So it's quite amazing. Look at where you are here in Eastern North Carolina. All the unique food places. You could start in Moria City. Go to L's. Start doing it.
And
go to Swansboro. Go to Giannis. And Borough.
And
it's sanitary.
That's right. Go to the barbecue places if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of those. You could just go to one every day if that's what you want to do.
You could do the best barbecue joint in every county and have 100 of those, and and then start the debate. Is this the best barbecue place?
Yeah.
The best barbecue
place.
place,
whatever your market is, I think in his particular market it worked because there were a lot of tech savvy people here that wanted to see what that food was like, and maybe the barbecue be a little bit slower to that, but
that would be,
you know what I mean.
Imagine that starting like in down east, covering Carteret County.
Oh, it'd be great.
Go to Onslow. Go up. Do you have a barbecue place in Jones you could go to?
No, but
you find one. I bet you there's some places down these dirt roads. It's like it's the best barbecue joint. In Trenton, Pollocksville, I bet you there's some place that
Beach Barbecue in Greenville. Their barbecue chicken is.
Yeah, so you're doing pork and you're doing chicken.
Yeah, you can do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to, as far as straight barbecue, there's a lot of really good ones in this area. Again, I'm partial to the one to Parker's out of Rocky Mount, but that's only because I got some family that was related there.
That'd be fun to get 5 plates of barbecue.
I like them all.
I do too. I mean,
I like them all.
To me, that's comfort food.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say,
well, that's like you're talking about. That's how I grew up. All my early family reunions, when we came back down to North Carolina, were essentially catered by Parker's because all those recipes are my family's. So
it's like a little partial.
Yeah, we were eating that stuff. I can remember far back as I can remember. And grow up in Richmond, they don't have the same kind of barbecue as it is here.
No.
So I'd go back, and everybody's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "No, this is."
No, and in Pennsylvania, you don't either.
They don't have it east of Raleigh.
No.
I mean, west of Raleigh. Once you get west of Raleigh, it changes.
Yeah. So.
And then once you get past North Carolina, the word changes.
Yeah.
Barbecue's not even the same thing.
No. That's what I'm saying. In Pennsylvania, we would have barbecue.
Yeah, y'all got a grill. That's your barbecue.
it was. I remember my mother making barbecue sandwiches, and I think it was ground beef with a lot of like tomato paste. It was like a sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
I think it would be a barbecue sandwich.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Oof. So it was nothing like what you have here.
Yeah.
And then take it to the next level, like a pig picking. Like we never even thought about doing that.
Yeah.
Where I come from.
And like in Missouri and stuff, and Texas, their barbecue is beef most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So it becomes a different thing. And I will say that some of that was really good when I went through there, but it was not the same as what we call barbecue here.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm starving. Let's call it a day because I got to get something to eat now.
Me too. I'm thinking about
As a matter of fact, when is Moore's open?
All right, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Joining us.
Enjoy the Indian summer, if we can still say that.